Hello and welcome to Xena Warrior Podcast. My name is Vera and I'm joined, as always, by my two future-proof co-hosts, Katie.
Hello.
And Livy.
Hi.
I'm hopped up on Dayquil.
Hopped up?
Hopped up.
Hopping around.
What are you drinking?
We're on our best hazmat
Bourbon.
suit highs because we are sitting near you and we're scared.
I'm so excited to take our karmas and throw them into the future to a time where in our karmic cycle we have already recorded this podcast.
Woo!
What about you guys?
It'll be done.
You lost me way back.
I'm just gonna say I think it's like so crazy that like we're where we are in this show.
I think it's crazy where we are in life.
Whoa, that's deep.
Yeah. I can't believe our karma brought us here to this moment.
Oh, because our lines are intertwined together.
Something
whatever.
about rainbows.
Rainbows.
Something about rainbows.
Whee! So today we're talking about 415 Between the Lines, written by Steve Sears and directed by our man, Rick Jacobson.
Rick. Before we even get into it, I really like the title.
Between the Lines.
Between the Lines,
What does it
obviously, is pointing to the mendhi, and the way you have the parallel lines, but between them there exists relationships. I really like it because it's also just a pun about subtext.
Reading between the lines.
Right, what do subtexters do?
Yeah.
So I like that little hello from Steve Sears.
From the other side, yes. And also, mendhi is the truth, as they keep saying. So there you go. Between the lines
Subtext is the truth.
This episode is pretty big because by the end of this thing, it's like, oh hey.
Yup.
Oh, hey, soulmates.
Yeah.
So we begin this episode with a shot of like clouds and what seems to, I think classically this looks like a Bible quote, like from a TV commercial about the Bible.
Are there many of those?
I feel like I've run into them.
The
In
graphics.
Indiana.
The
Yeah,
font.
in Indiana for sure. Yeah. And the quote, however, is about karma.
We've never had a title card like this, have we?
No.
No.
Not really. I mean, there were title cards in A Day
Like
in
at
the
the
Life,
beginning.
but not
Well,
like this.
Okay, yeah, like chapter cards for that one, yeah.
But not.
like a
Not
big-
like this.
I don't think we've had a, what is it? I always forget if it's epigram or epigraph, but we haven't had one.
Stalactite, stalagmite.
Yeah. We've never had a stalactite before an episode.
Yes.
So this immediately makes it feel important.
Yeah, serious.
There's
Yeah.
a lot going on immediately in the first 2 seconds of this episode that has just a lot going on in it the whole time.
What does it say?
It says, what we sow in this life, we reap in our future lives. This is our karma. End of quote. From the Xena Blue Scroll, author unknown.
So much to unpack.
Yeah, let's do it. That's what we're here for.
Well, my first thought is that this is a very different writing style than what we expect from Gabrielle. We've always heard her doing, like, narrative, like, oh, hi, me and Xena, we went to this. It was amazing. My writing's kind of bad. I can't replicate it.
You were like, whoa, this is good.
This seems to have been pulled from somewhere.
Yeah.
It's just a quote,
Yeah.
so...
It's very, like, didactic. It sounds more like, you know, a philosophical
That's
text.
why it's the pull quote.
Yeah.
I thought it was real, and then I saw that it was the blue scroll, and I was like, oh, never mind, this is Gabrielle, which is real, guys. It's
Yeah,
real.
Gabrielle's real.
But I thought it was like a legitimate, like, actual thing.
Well, excuse, it says author unknown.
That's so upsetting.
I know. It's so upsetting. Also realistic, because we know it's Gabrielle writing. Who else is writing the Xena Scrolls? No one. Gabrielle is. And it's just so depressingly realistic as to, like, women writing.
Yeah.
It's just not...
In history. Yeah.
Their names get lost. They're
You
silenced.
have pieces and fragments and end of list.
And
Great.
it also makes you go, like, Gabs, in the time that we know her, is, like, shouting out her involvement in Xena's life. And you imagine that's all over the scrolls. So you kind of ask yourself not only, like, what happened historically, but also, like, what happens to Gabs to maybe make her the sort of writer who wouldn't do that.
I'm like, was she writing in the first person or the third person?
Yeah, it's hard to tell from this
I
quote.
forget what's later, so we'll come across more season 6.
Well, this is what we sow, so it's referring to everybody.
Yeah, we. You think she's just talking about her and Xena?
Yeah, nobody else.
No one else.
Karma doesn't matter to anybody else.
Well, okay, so it's got that you reap what you sow, and then says this is our karma. Karma, to me, like I feel like I have a very Western understanding of it, which is not accurate as to what would be in the episode. Like, when you're just throwing around the word karma, you're like, oh, that person did a bad thing, so something shit is gonna happen to them.
Karma.
Like, that, yeah.
Being like, karma's a bitch, or like, not for me, all I think about is karma.
Yeah. Is Alti Taylor?
Yes, Alti is Taylor.
my
Katy
God.
Perry is
Xena.
And Gabs is, I don't know.
John Mayer.
What?
That's really funny.
Oy, oy. Ooh.
I accept
Let's leave
it.
this. Okay. But that's not technically correct, right?
That John Mayer is Gabrielle.
Oh, no. It's like not at all correct how the West thinks of karma. Well, number one, it means action, right? Sanskrit for act or action. And my understanding is that it's everything you've done in your past life and then everything you're doing in your current life, it goes on to the next life. So nothing that you're doing in your current life is going to like come back and bite you in the ass. Like we think about it, it's going to be in your next life that it affects you.
I think it's one of those words where there are, like, you can use it in different ways. Like, I think I saw on Wikipedia, which is the boss of everything, like, that there are 3 different kinds of karma, and actually one of those kinds of karma is about, like, the ripening fruit, like, your actions in your present life and, like, how they affect you. So I think it's just one of those words that can mean a lot of things, but not as many things as Steve Sears would like it to mean.
Yeah.
One thing that I really liked from Steve Sears is the idea for this episode came from a Muppets song.
I like that too. I thought that was very sweet and explains a lot about this episode.
And I feel like it also explains a lot about Steve Sears.
What song?
So the song is called I'm Going to Go Back There Someday. Gonzo sings it in the Muppets movie from 1979.
I totally believe that Steve Sears identifies with Gonzo.
That is the most heartbreaking, beautiful song and performance ever.
You watched
I
it?
watched it
Yeah.
today and I was like crying. It
God.
is so good.
They'll get you.
Yeah, and it was really unexpected, and also like the line itself that kind of inspired this whole thinking about the karmas in whatever way, you know, he thinks about it. It just goes, "There's not a word yet for old friends who've just met," which is like the most beautiful thing ever.
I remember that line.
I'm so fucking moved. And that is this. It's like
this.
2 souls meeting across time. It's legit.
It's so beautiful. Oh my god.
No, I'm moved.
Help
That's really nice,
us.
Steve. Yeah. So that's how we see Xena and Gabs.
Xena and Gabrielle throughout time. It just totally explains, you know, old souls. Like
People say he's not a subtexter. That's
What?
very
They say
romantic.
that? Yeah,
well,
who
I
says that?
I certainly saw a lot of fans talking about him at the time, circa 1999.
well, we said that about Chris Mannheim, and look what happened.
That's true. It just shows. Goes to show.
She wrote my favorite episode of all time a long time ago at Family Affair, beginning of this season.
So long ago.
So long ago.
Wait, it was this season? It
Yeah.
wasn't last season?
No.
Oh my god, it felt ages ago.
No, you goof.
Wow.
Okay, so one more thing to unpack from this quote. The blue scroll.
Right.
What? Is it
Yes,
blue?
why blue?
Steve Sears, I saw, also had a quote where he said he picked blue because he thinks it's the most spiritual color.
I still think it has to do with like the Beatles' White Album. Like he's
Did he
going
decide
for
that?
that.
Oh, sorry.
No, sorry. I was just going with my theory that the Beatles makes you think of India.
The blue scroll.
Oh.
So yeah,
The Beatles don't have a blue album.
the White Album. So he's like, well, can't be the White Scroll.
That's
Too
true, they're
obvious.
all white.
Too obvious. So let's go with blue.
I think this episode is very white scroll.
Oh.
Oh boy. Well, that's interesting, like, because I don't really know color meanings off the top of my head, but like I did associate and read about yellow being spiritual or representing
Coldplay.
enlightenment and spirituality, which I think makes sense for Gabrielle's costuming.
I like that
okay.
a lot.
In the episode.
Well, yeah, the sun feels.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. Gabs is our
bright.
son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's the Earth.
Oh, we're
Yeah.
2 seconds.
And
into
Xena
the
is
episode.
water, which is blue. Bam!
That was her outfit.
Yeah, her outfit is blue. Her eyes are very blue.
Of course.
So,
Yeah.
of course, it would be the blue scroll.
This is the episode where they are barefoot in the entirety of it.
Yeah.
So remember when Rob wanted that for at least Gabrielle?
That must have been hell to shoot.
I hated it. I hated watching it.
Did your feet hurt, like,
just-
vicariously?
I don't want to think about it. Can we begin with the episode?
Oh my god.
Or
Yeah.
is there more
Yeah.
to discuss?
There's a lot in this
'Cause
episode, so
this
we
episode
should
begins
get
with
to
a
it.
shopping
Yes.
situation.
I love the shopping because they banter and it's adorable.
Yeah. Gabrielle made Xena get a new outfit, guys.
Right. Let's talk about this. So, like, Xena is changing behind.
She's in a little fitting room.
Yeah.
There's going to be a
she's,
lot
like,
of
in a-
changing this episode.
No, leave me alone. Did you wait? Just as like a sidebar, what my note and my outline at the end of this episode, my last note is, "Oh, Joe, how could you?" Which is a very specific reference.
Oh man, you're one beauty.
I don't get it.
No, there
Not
you go.
Jolo.
Oh,
It's from Little Women.
It's Little Women. I get it.
Anyway,
Yeah, I was like, what did Jolo do?
No.
what? That's not what I said. Well, Xena's in the little changing room, and so Gabrielle somehow knows all of the fashion.
It's all the rage. This what she's making her put on. All the rage. Yeah, she has looked at Vogue India.
I feel like Gabs, you know, one of her pleasures is shopping. So probably the second they got to India, she was just like looking at
Gabs.
all the stalls.
Yes.
You know, she had it all figured out.
Loves shopping so much.
I love
Like,
that this is consistent.
so consistent. A lot of consistent things. I like that Xena's not worried about being stared at. That's interesting. I think people are going to stare at her anyway.
I know. I was like, that's not gonna help.
I don't think it matters.
I thought her line about how it says casual, it says sexy was insane. It was just a really strange thing to say about that outfit.
Oh,
Did that outfit look casual? It looked sexy.
No. Well, it's
Yeah.
funny, like casual, no, because the head. I feel like the head jewelry that she's wearing is bridal.
oh,
So it's like very
opposite of casual.
casual, right? Ooh, and I was like reading about what that design is. So it has the part that hangs down on your forehead. It's called the tika, and it's supposed to like protect the bride from bad spirits, which I feel like does not help Xena so much
It
for
really,
a while.
yeah, it had one job.
I don't know who she's marrying, but
Gabs.
Gabrielle, I guess.
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I think she does look pretty in this outfit. However, they are running around in the outfits more.
Well, when in Rome.
Oh, please.
Yeah.
Oh, please was great. I actually do I like Gabrielle's line for something interesting to think about how she, expresses to Xena that it's important to immerse yourself in the culture. Because I do feel like, at least from the character's point of view and Gabrielle's point of view, she is very respectful. And she's very interested and genuinely seeking things here. So I think that's important to consider.
I also think it's funny. It's an ironic line because they're immediately gonna brush up against some culture that
Immediately.
they aren't so on board with.
Right.
So we'll talk
Right
about
now.
that in a sec. But I also just want to be like, when in Rome, that's funny because Steve wrote that episode too.
Oh, please.
Oh, please, Steve, don't remind us about how great When in Rome was. Okay, you can remind us.
Well, Gabrielle convinces Xena that she looks hella good in this outfit.
When she goes ooh, when Xena walks out.
I mean, she looks amazing. I went ooh too.
The bangs are
They're up, they're gone.
up. I was like, whoa.
You don't see them this episode.
You don't.
That's another one of my most controversial opinions is that I like them when they're
Love
gone.
it.
Yeah.
This is we're in the period where there's changes with the hair for both ladies. They're doing something with Xena's bangs as well. So that's fascinating. Xena decides to buy the outfit, and I really love the detail where she's bartering with the guy, and she's like, 2, and he's like, 4, and she's like, okay. And it is so consistent with her in, the debt, where
Right,
she's
where
just
she
so
didn't even
bad at
want to
bartering.
make a deal at all.
Yeah, it was really great. The final thing that really convinced Xena about the outfit is that she could fight in it. So she does a little like flip-de-doo, proves that it's totally movable, and she's all set.
Gabs, it says a lot. Yeah.
So they are on their way, but they see a sort of procession going by, and they're like, oh, let's take a look. Genuinely interested in it. And it starts looking like it's like a funeral procession. They have like a guy in the front, like a dead guy, and then a lady behind him. And it certainly looks like they're going to chuck her into a fire.
That is indeed what it looks like.
After they throw his body on it.
What do we think of this lady?
She cool.
She's got an amazing face.
Yeah, and I really love her outfits, red.
Red is the color of brides, not of widows. Widows would wear white, which I thought it was an interesting choice.
Interesting.
So this practice, according to our good friend Wikipedia.
Thanks, Wikipedia. Love you, babe.
Oh my god. It's called sati, I think, is how you would pronounce it. An obsolete funeral custom where a widow immolates herself on her husband's pyre or takes her own life in another fashion shortly after her husband's death. Xena and Gabrielle immediately are not into this one bit.
I was into this. I mean, not into sati, but into this idea of kind of the complexity of being in another culture. That it's not just like, oh, look, their outfits are cool, let's put them on, fun. But it's like, oh, like the value system is different here. And
very
how
different.
would Xena's heroism react to that? So when I first saw this episode, I was super excited. I was like, this is cool. I want an episode about this. Thank you, Steve. Yeah. Cut to 2 minutes later when it's really not about this at all. But this version of the episode, I was on board. I thought this is the way to do a story about Xena and Gabrielle traveling to a new place, seeing the way that place challenges them.
Yeah,
so,
right.
This is a cool scenario.
Because Xena immediately flips in, and her first line is, "What has this woman done?" Because
Actually,
it looks like
it's,
they're gonna.
What has this woman done? What? She has this what?
Well, my favorite is Gabrielle going, has she been found guilty of murder? It's like really pronounced, and I love it. Well, before we leave that topic though, remind me, you guys, to tweet out. There's a really long and interesting article from what seems like a ye old history website called the Victorian Web about this. And about what it meant in colonial India for Britain came in trying to stop this, and it was kind of parallels with Xena busting in and being like, this is terrible. It's really fascinating, and I recommend reading it. However, I shall not read it all here.
I was really I went down an internet wormhole reading about this practice and finding out all the different cultures that had similar things, including the Thracians.
Oh, yeah?
Who,
including Game of Thrones.
Also Game of Thrones. But the Thracians, slit the widow's throat over her husband's grave.
So Xena, isn't she, she's from Thrace.
Yeah.
But she's more what, you're burning her? You're supposed to slit her throat.
Oh, my goodness.
You moron.
Wow. It's also, I feel like maybe somewhere Steve and co would have gotten it from is Around the World in 80 Days. It's the plot point in the Jules Verne classic, which I have not read.
I think I saw one of the
don't
movies.
Tell anyone.
No one will know.
But yeah, it's a plot point in there.
Well, the guys there are very calm about it and explain that this is the law, and nobody but a Darshan and an enlightened one can change it.
That's not a word.
It sure sounds like
But
one.
it is a town in Suffolk.
Oh.
Excellent.
So maybe that's what he means. Somebody from Suffolk can change their law.
And everybody in Suffolk is enlightened, so we
go.
know this. But Xena's really not having it, so she starts fighting the guys, and there's all sorts of ridiculous fighting with a wet scarf.
Yeah. Is the physics behind this? I get when she's using it as a whip.
So confusing.
But when it becomes the
She
staff,
makes it a staff.
it wouldn't hold its shape like that. It
I
would
hated
become
that.
stiff.
Hated it.
Hated it.
I hated this fight.
Thumbs down. Hated it.
However, this was the moment where the fight went slow-mo, and I was
Rick.
like, Rick, I see you,
Good.
Rick.
Gab's hair.
Rick is learning a really important life lesson, which is that if you slow down a dumb fight, It still looks dumb,
Don't
but
stupefy
slower.
She throws a guy into like 3 guys. And
But there's a little sound.
You're just not appreciating this is the last of the long locks floating in the slow-mo.
I guess not, yeah.
Appreciate it.
So in
That's all I'm saying.
this fight, there was like a real spear that's thrown at Xena, and then she grabs it and kind of like sticks it into a big kind of rock pillar, like flips from it, da-da-da.
Meanwhile, Xena has advised Gabs to take Naima to safety, and they're kind of just standing there. And I was like, do your jobs, Gabs! 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 Like, literally, she stands there for the entire fight. And then Xena, like, runs past her and is like, come on! And you're like, wow! What happened?
Yeah, so they, the 3 of them escape into this house and sort of like Xena barricades them in there. The house seems to have 2 rooms, one windowless one, and one, like, the main one. So she orders Gabrielle to put furniture in front of the door. And she tries to find another way out, so she runs into the second room. The second room is kind of a temple situation. There is, like, an altar, all sorts of stuff. And she's like, fuck, there's no way out of here. She turns, and there's Naima, and she's doing something weird.
Yeah, there's an interesting moment when Xena runs by where Naima looks at her. Like, Xena kind of brushes past her, and Naima gives her an odd look.
Which is interesting, because Naima has just been, like, 1,000-yard stare this entire time, including when men were trying to put her in a bonfire. Yeah. So it's weird that suddenly there's light in this woman's eyes.
It just makes what she's about to do slightly less random.
I guess. It still feels very random.
Very random.
I'll just get out in front of this and say that this whole Naima character is terrible, and I dislike it a lot.
Guys, Naima is a human personification of Mehndi. So when
what does that mean?
Is that what it was?
It seems that way at the end of the episode.
She was a flesh and blood woman married to a guy at one point.
That was the Mehndi living
she
its
had
truth.
a life and feelings, and it's just none of it's on screen. It's a really.
But what if she was always?
I just
like
want to
this?
throw all the coins in.
Go for it. But I think this is a fascinating attempt at a human woman by Mehndi.
I forgot to mention earlier when they're throwing her in. The guy has this line where Gabs does that
murder.
Is she convicted of murder? and this guy's like, her? And kind of gives this like psh, laugh. And in the deleted scenes, you can see that they cut a line here, which was him being like, she's crazy.
What?
Because she's Mehndi. She's not even a woman.
Oh, no. That makes it worse.
It's definitely worse. I'm glad they cut it. I hope they did some soul searching. Because you should definitely be throwing the mentally ill on a bonfire. Like, what?
She becomes a glowing ball and disappears into Xena's foot. She's not a real woman.
I mean, she's a stereotype, or maybe a collection of stereotypes. Take your pick. Like, there's some holy fool. There's some just, like, exoticized lady, for whatever reason, like, speaks English fluently when describing the plot, but otherwise
for her first 2 introductions with Xena and then with Gabrielle, she doesn't speak in the way that she does later in the episode, which doesn't make any sense because she's doing
learning
something.
To talk.
Well, the thing is that the way the plot is kind of like revealed slowly throughout, like what's going on. But instead of just like telling them both what's happening, she just sends Xena off. And it doesn't make much sense. And then later she's like, I didn't have time to explain. I'm like,
You're sending her to the future. You have so much time. The future will be there. 10 minutes later, it's still the future. What?
Well, those guys could have broken down in like the house and then, like killed her.
They had time to sit in their lotus poses meditating for an hour while she taught Gabs, I should say, every single symbol in the mendhi.
Well, that's because Gabs does such a great job putting furniture in front of the door.
Oh, this episode makes no sense. All right. We should get back to the scene by scene-ness.
Sure. Okay, so Naima, she's been like wrapped in this scarf the whole time, and when she sees Xena and they're alone, she unfurls the scarf and starts. Her body is covered in like awesome mendhi, and she starts doing a little dance. And
the music is really cool here.
Yeah.
Like the reveal of it. You're like, whoa, something's happening.
She's doing something weird. Xena's like, what's going on? My notes say that this moment reminded me of Lauma doing her special stuff that Xena was like, whoa, that's so cool. But, like, you guys, like, really just went off on this woman, so never mind.
Yeah, how dare you compare this to Lauma.
I find her fascinating.
I think the actress is really interesting, and, like, I wanted to like it, but, like, I just can't. I just feel like it's not a character. And, like, you heard me.
Judging by the way you keep saying it instead of she, it's not a character. I can tell that you really.
But, you know, I was so mad last week that all the South Asian characters were killed or sidelined really quickly. The fact that this is kind of our foremost Indian character, and she's just not a character,
right?
And it's really frustrating to me.
Well, she's doing her dance, and she summons a bunch of like 90s CGI from her body.
Oh, we'll talk about all this when we get to the Gabs part.
And she shoots it at Xena.
Yeah.
And she's like, have courage, Xena. I'm sending you on a journey into your future. A journey to save your karmic soul.
Even right here, she could have been more specific. Because what does that mean?
Yeah, that really could mean a million different things.
Yeah.
So intense, her plan here.
And no information whatsoever.
And it turns out that the only thing that can defeat the great evil in the future, she did not give her.
And then my favorite part about that, we're not there yet, but that's fine. I don't care if she's a Gabrielle. She's like, oh, that's not a good idea. Oh, well, here, take this if you're going to do it.
Like, but
this
only
is literally
thing that will help. I'm not sure what she expects Xena to do.
Bring her back, but how come
I feel like all Xena is going to do is accidentally kill someone because those are her warrior instincts and fuck up her karma forever.
Yeah, they didn't think about this. Didn't think it all the way through.
Yeah, I'm just like, what? I lay all of these problems at the feet of Steve. This episode makes zero sense.
Uh-oh.
So Xena is being transported into the future, and we get a lot of images.
Yeah, they're weird. We see
What are
babies.
they?
Lots of babies.
We see 2 different babies. And there's some cross stuff. Field of crosses again. Mm-hmm. There's a Roman soldier stabbing a trunk, presumably trying to attack the baby. Okay. I didn't know what that was about. Presumably, Xena will be born as some kind of messianic figure who soldiers will try to kill as a babe.
All right.
That's my interpretation of that.
Makes sense.
Don't forget about The Way, which we haven't seen yet.
The Way.
Not yet, guys. Not yet.
And then you see Arminestra.
Mm-hmm. Right. Xena is transported to the body of this woman, Arminestra. She is an old hag!
Oh, no.
She's an old woman.
No, she's an older lady. I like the face transition. I actually think it's quite good.
This is the best effect in the episode.
Yeah.
Firmly believe. It was weird. It made me go, but in like a good way.
It looked like a fashion exhibit that I saw once at the Met where they had faces projected onto like weird mannequin faces. So it was like double face.
I saw that exhibit. Yeah. That freaked me out.
That was this. Yeah. Double face.
Oh, I've heard, you know what? When she was getting sucked back in, it reminded me of the Doctor Who credits. Like, you get that, like, time tunnel.
The time vortex
thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So, Xena is in this woman's body.
We cut to Lucy Lawless playing her.
Right
away.
Right away, yeah. We have probably, like, minimal Arminestra
She
actress.
doesn't have a speaking line.
Yeah, she doesn't speak at all.
So,
she's just a body double.
I don't like this either. She seemed cute, and I kind of wanted to see the Mother of Peace doing her thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I felt like Xena is so different from this character fundamentally that I felt like we never met her.
Like in the way that you meet Shakti.
Yeah. And that was frustrating to me because I was like,
that's a good point.
You're doing a time travel episode. The pleasure is seeing like what's different here, and I didn't feel like anything was different because it was just Xena on a cane. Like the only thing that's different is she has a cane. Mm-hmm. So
but sometimes actual Xena has a cane. So how different is
that's
that?
True. So yeah, I didn't care for this at all, just as an artistic choice, and obviously it's bad play to hire these South Asian actors and just completely erase them and have your white leads playing them. I'm sure they didn't see it from that perspective when they made these choices, but I think these days you just would not have done this in an episode. It's really
Yeah, like
not
we could have
cool.
watched the whole 30 minutes of an episode without them in it.
I think that would have
understood the plot.
Awesome. I think that would have been this like really cool message that, you know, your heroes can be in these different bodies and bodies that you don't usually see on TV, and they're still your heroes. Like, that would have been so progressive. And the fact that literally they couldn't even go 1 minute with this woman as Xena. Like, they were just like, no, quick, get Lucy Lawless in there. I'm just like, God. Right. Great, thanks.
I thought that the woman playing Alti, Kindin,
she's fantastic.
She was doing her best Alti.
I so missed her when she was gone.
Yeah.
Even though you have Alti and Claire Stansfield, who's so much fun. But this lady was cool and scary
but
in
you
her
could
own
see
right.
the essence of Alti in her.
It was the hat.
She wasn't doing the voice.
No,
but,
I'm glad she wasn't doing the voice.
But you know, the tude was there.
The tude was 100% there.
Yeah.
She's really good.
So I would have definitely watched the entire episode with her. So Xena takes over this woman's, Arminestra's body, like, in the middle of this, like, intense negotiation, which is, like, she's so confused, like, what is happening? And we also know that Xena's really bad at bartering, so this is, like, not great.
I really liked the physical performance, the way she does kind of almost, like, fall onto her cane.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, I need that. it was a good little bit by Lucy.
Also, I love whenever she has a cane, so... So she's very confused, and then she notices the spear in the stone, and it's, like, super rusty. So then immediately she's like, oh, this is the future.
Good detail.
And then she sees
she
her
didn't
own
see the
reflection.
title card that said A Future Life.
Oh, yeah. What do you think about it? I saw so many fans in their reviews complaining about that Future Life title card. They felt that was condescending. I was like, that's condescending? Of all the things in this episode?
It is, yeah. They did, like, a bleach bypass kind of look for the Future Life, which I thought was very not noticeable.
Very not noticeable, I would agree. And in fact, it does disappear in the exterior shots, so they didn't get the memo in places.
All right, so I guess we're divided on whether we needed that title card or not.
I mean, my whole thing with this episode, I know
don't have strong feelings.
It's super confusing, obviously, but the fact that they have to explain everything to you 5 times in 5 different ways, like, it's just really annoying.
Yeah, it's
very
messy.
complicated.
I think it's really fun. Like, obviously it has its issues. I do think it's fun as an episode, and it has really interesting ideas that I really like thinking about, but it is quite messy.
I hate 75% of it.
Ooh, that's a lot. I would not go that far at all. Woof, no.
Yeah.
Well, that's like the opposite of Paradise Found, right? Where you love 75% of it, and then there's 25%.
I love 90% of Paradise Found.
That
Vera.
means you love her, at least her teeth, or one part of her face you love.
That makeup is there for 5 minutes, dude.
No, 25%.
Whereas I timed the amount of minutes of this episode that I like, and there are 10 of them. So I like
that is
25%.
Real harsh.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll hear more from more from Liv in a second.
All right.
So she sees her reflection in the shield, and it's like just like the crucifixion.
That was a cool,
imagery.
good idea.
It was really cool. And she's a crone. No, she's the mother of peace. She's the mother of peace.
Don't be like Gabrielle later, where she was like, "How is your brain so sharp when you're so?" I was like, "This ageism. What is happening?" She was really
grossed out when she saw Xena. So was not hot.
Stop it.
Coin for Gabs is ageism.
So Xena sees that Kindin has some hostages, and it's not great. And she's like, "What do you want to do with the hostages?" And Kindin's like, "My business is to own them."
Body and soul.
Clues as to maybe who this is.
And that she's a giant capitalist.
And then there's like fireballs and explosions and chaos.
Just to remind you that this is the same team up who did A Good Day.
Oh,
director and writer.
Cool. So we have the same fireballs.
Yeah. They come too with the package.
Both the armies face off. It is reds versus blacks. We're color-coded. Kindin's people are in black. Mother of Peace, her guys are in red.
Except for Shakti.
Who rides in
on a horse.
Yeah, there's a great like overhead shot of Shakti riding in, all hero-like, in his yellow outfit.
And he's screaming to find the Mother of Peace, because they gotta rescue her.
Shakti is
Attractive.
very attractive.
Agreed.
In fact, so attractive that he is the host of New Zealand's Next Top Model.
Yes!
Ah!
He is.
My God, does he
Currently
smize?
right now.
Yes. Colin Mathra Jeffrey.
Does he smize?
I'm sure he does a very good smize.
Wow, that is craziness.
He also has hosted the show New Zealand's Hottest Home Baker.
Oh my goodness. I'm going to watch all of these shows.
I know!
So Xena hobbles over and picks up a sword, and she wants to attack Kindin, but some guy like knocks it out of her hand by accident. So she just like rounds on Kindin and grabs her arm, and then it's like a flash and like a whoosh, and we reveal that it's Alti.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
So there's definitely a thing where like touch and shaking people or brushing by them like makes you see
Who
stuff.
they really are.
Like that's what Naima did at the beginning.
Oh.
I think with Xena. That's how she knew
I didn't even understand
what to
that.
do. That's why I think it makes it less random.
Okay, I appreciate you trying to
I
put some
tried.
logic into this.
I try. But then it's Alti, and she's like, Xena! Which is sounds like Mariah's, but...
The accent goes in a different part of the Xena.
How does
Oh,
it
let's
go?
hear it. Let's
No,
hear
no, no,
it. Let's hear Mariah's Xena. Do it.
So Verizon is like, Xena. And then Alti's like, Xena.
Oh.
That's good. We heard that.
Okay, so she says to her, I knew I'd find your soul eventually. So here's another little bit of messiness with karma and with how this is all being presented in this episode. Because Alti is her Alti self, like,
Ultimate,
how
remember?
is she always cognizant in each life of looking for Xena versus everyone else who has like a normal next life? I don't get it.
I don't know. Alti.
She's a shamanist.
Is that it?
She's always in charge.
Yeah,
That's
she's using versions of her powers from previous lives there. She seems very consistent in her mission across time. But I mean, I'm totally with you that none of the metaphysics really track. Like if you try to make sense of something, you're always going to find something that doesn't really fit.
I don't understand how she's been such an evil person.
How long has it been? How long has it been? That's
I
the
couldn't
question.
figure out if this is their next life or if this is like 2 or 3.
It's enough for that thingy to be
lifetimes.
rusty.
So
and
that's
still there.
more like a next life and not a.
So then we should
200
question how
years.
she's like, I want to become the destroyer of nations, and you're like, well, why haven't you already? You're Alti.
I don't think it's the next one. I think it might be like a next.
And also,
or like
Alti
a next.
died. Like her next life is presumably happening already.
Can I just say something? I don't know that I feel like Xena goes from the Xena to the Mother of Peace. I think there's some stuff in
There's
between.
some stuff in between.
I feel like there has to be some more.
Okay. One of the many confusions of this episode is not being 100% sure when this is taking place.
That doesn't make sense. Carry on.
So a guy runs up to try to save Arminestra. Alti kills him, and then the good guys kind of like grab her, get her out of there. Alti crossbows Shakti, and then she's just kind of like marveling at the fact that LOL, Xena's in the body of this Mother of Peace,
The great warrior Xena in the body of a peacemaker. Ha!
I love her. Good old Claire.
She's good value.
The best.
Very good value.
Okay, so back in the present, Gabrielle is piling on that furniture.
Okay, yeah.
In the house.
Okay.
So much furniture. So she runs into that room. She's looking for Xena. Naima jumps in front of her, all creepy, with like a little piece of paper.
What's the paper?
I assume she has some of the
Instructions?
designs.
The designs.
designs.
She was like drawing
But
the designs.
Gabrielle does not take it.
And she goes, make moves, sweet thing. And Gabrielle crumples it up and throws it away.
Which is really great.
It was so intense. She's like, I don't have time for this.
I want to believe that Naima was being like, make a move. She thinks you're a sweet thing.
This is part, again, what I don't understand about this characterization, because I don't understand why this line has to be this way.
It's very obnoxious.
So confusing for no reason when she explains
Again, a minute
everything
later,
in detail.
She calmly explains, so it really just felt...
It's just exoticizing everything, and it's bad stuff.
Well, are you talking about where Gabrielle goes, where's Xena? And then Naima, like, starts plucking nothings out of the air, being like, Xena, in the sea. In the sea.
Yeah.
Where I misheard that being like, in the Xena. In the
You
Xena.
didn't mishear it. The closed captions
actually
said, yeah, her line was in the Xena.
Okay, yeah.
And she does refer to a sea of time here, which makes me sing the song from Hercules and Xena.
Oh, that's right.
The animated movie about...
We've forgotten
man.
that exists.
But they already made a
across the
reference
sea of
to
time.
that movie by saying, when you want to fly with eagles, but what she really means is fly with rock birds.
Don't dress like a turkey.
Yeah.
And you know that animated movie was a turkey.
And they drew them looking like turkeys.
Anyway, it is a bummer to me that I think a lot of these really great and really fascinating ideas are being introduced to this show in this way, because it's really cool.
It is really cool. I mean, this is why I'm being so hard on it. And I'm always harder on episodes that are ambitious, because they're more important. Like, they have to achieve more. And to have this really thinky episode that's actually just a really significant episode for the rest of the show.
Absolutely.
Be this bad. Be this just, like, poorly thought out and put together just offends me.
Yeah, I think that, well, I mean, I don't feel as intensely as you do about it being so bad. I actually like the episode because I like this being introduced to the show. I just wish that all of these really interesting ideas could have been introduced to the world of Xena in a way that was a little less offensive and that actually hung together, because I think that, like, for me, I really enjoyed watching the episode, and I think the more you watch it, the more you see that the, like, internal logic of how karma and everything is being presented, like, doesn't make sense, and it's, like, different for everybody, and it's kind of, like, a little all over the place, and,
so
you know,
many
and
questions.
we're going to get into this more, not now, next week, where we are actually dealing with a belief system that millions of people on the planet believe in.
The stakes are high.
The stakes are high.
And not the stakes Alti constructed.
Yeah.
The narrative stakes. Sorry, that was a terrible one.
Anyway.
Yeah, I agree. It's all the more important to, like, you know, do your research and try your best to, like, I totally have sympathy for artistic license. Like, I think there's certain elaborations that Steve does in this episode that are neat and I enjoy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and I totally think that that's one of the things about this show, that it, like, can do those things. I'm not saying that it can't do those things. I just want it to, like, make sense.
But they have to make sense. Yeah, he needs to create a version of these ideas that fits together. Whereas here, I feel like he's just taken bunches of little things at random buzzwords and just thrown them in and put it all on this time travel story that feels kind of stale to me. Like, he's not actually doing anything with that kind of a narrative that's interesting.
See, I don't get the stale feelings because I just am too, like, I'm enamored with it being romantic. So
that's true.
Like, I can't.
That's like my one plus for
love
this
it.
episode is that it is so romantic. But yeah.
Anyway,
let's go back.
I have a very important note here.
Yes.
Okay, go.
And it's a quote from Katie
Oh.
about Gabrielle.
Okay.
Is it Ocho? How could you?
No.
Okay.
Katie goes, "She looks so pretty." And then proceeds to do her best Nancy Kerrigan. Why?
Oh.
Yeah, this
Sorry,
really is
Nancy.
a last hurrah.
Okay, so Naima is doing her mendhi dance at Gabrielle.
Ooh, quick, let's talk about her mendhi on her chest. The
Oh, yes.
six-pointed star.
There's a lot going
Naima
on.
doesn't have that.
Naima
She does have that. She
It's
has more than Gabrielle.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
different than Gabrielle's.
Yeah,
though.
she has one in a
A
12-petaled lotus,
Yeah.
which is one of the chakra. It's
Heart
the heart
chakra,
chakra. Yeah. So that was cool, I thought.
Yeah.
And goes back to all my lotus stuff from Paradise Found.
Yeah. Oh, and so when we're talking about the 90s CGI, I did find a good description of the heart chakra that kind of goes along with the swirlies.
The
and
swirlies.
whatever's going on. Which I feel like, I'm not saying, because we're doing a lot of like ragging on some stuff, but I do think that a lot of thought did go into all of the concepts and stuff. So we can like LOL a bit at the CGI, but like I didn't know a lot about this, so I had to read a whole bunch. So Sanskrit word chakra literally translates to wheel or disc, as we would know the word chakram. So like in yoga and meditation, it refers to wheels of energy throughout the body. There are 7 main ones that align the spine, starting from the base of the spine through the crown of your head. To visualize the chakra in the body, imagine a swirling wheel of energy where matter and consciousness meet. So that's, to me, what is happening there. So you have like, and then that all invisible energy, which is called prana, is a vital life force, keeps us vibrant, healthy, and alive. Thank you, the website that I got that from, Chopra.com. Thank you, Deepak.
So this is, I mean, what Naima does now is slightly different than what she does.
Right, she's not sending Gabs into the future.
This is like kind of like she's showing the mendhi do like a little dance.
I can show you the world of the mendhi.
So the mendhi comes alive, right, and it starts floating around, and it's very rainbow colored.
Yes, it looked like Lucky Charms.
Lucky Charms, I literally have that note. Or the buttons off your PlayStation remote.
I have one. I have one more. They're each one. The more you know. Logo.
Yes.
There's just so many. The more you know. She's like, Gabs, you have so much to know.
Yeah.
The more you know. The more you know. The more you know.
My favorite thing about it is her looking at it being like the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. She's supposed to be looking at the universe and life and all this stuff, and that's what's being acted. And I love it, because then it's being swirled around by fun CGI rainbow light. Beautiful. I love it. I love it. I do. Gotta love it. Come on. Come on. You can't fault the CGI for being the way that it is.
I like some of the later CGI. Not as much as the Arminestra face, but...
I didn't mind the Lucky Charms. I thought they made their point.
They came out of
her designs, they floated around, and then they went back in. They swooped back in. And Naima kind of had to explain then what was happening. Like, all the things she didn't get a chance to tell Xena, she now starts telling Gabrielle, which is that there's a great evil hunting Xena's soul in the future. And if it succeeds, Xena's karmic cycle will end, and all the good that her future lives will do will be lost.
She should have told this to Xena.
Yes.
She really, really, really should have.
So she had to think fast and send Xena into the future.
Yeah, she says she had to send her there quickly to defend herself. As a reminder, that has not happened yet in the future. There has been no defense.
I mean, in the future, Alti figured out that Xena was Arminestra.
That's
and
it.
It's like bragging about
and now
how
is
she's gonna,
really targeting her like
1,000
1,000 times more than before. So, good job.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is where Gabrielle's like, oh my god, you gotta send me to Xena. And Naima's like, I don't know, is that a good idea? And then Gabrielle says some very nice romantic things.
She says, look at my karma. That's not how karma works. You can see how Xena's a part of it. And she's like, oh yeah, I can. You're right. Thanks. I was about to make a big mistake there and just leave her there without the mendhi, but you're right, Gabs. I'll send you.
Yeah, let me send you into the episode too. And so she's going to give her the weapon that she didn't get a chance to give Xena, which is the mendhi. But she has to like learn it first. So they
that
have
sounds like it would take a lot of time.
Yeah, I don't know. How long does it take? Like 5-10 minutes?
That's all they got.
Oh my god. No.
All right, so in the future, Xena is tending to Shakti's wound. He's all like lounging about, shirtless.
It's good. New Zealand's hottest home baker.
He was? No,
he's the host.
I thought you were saying he baked too.
He's the bread.
Like he's John Hamm in that 30 round.
Oh, yeah.
But then except not dumb.
Well, I assume if he has the expertise to judge such a contest, he must be good at the baking.
Okay.
Arminestra is healing his wound. She does the pinch to stop the bleeding, fixes the whole thing. And he is like, whoa, these are new skills from you.
Yeah, and that, again, I was like, oh, I really want to know, like, what Arminestra did. Like, how she went about stopping wars all over the subcontinent. I wanted to see that. The fact that he's so surprised that she can practice battlefield medicine, which is definitely an area where pacifists often practice. So, like, I don't know. I liked this scene, but it left me with so many questions.
I love this scene because they're just reenacting one against an army, which I assume that they do in every lifetime. So I don't care about anything that you're saying.
Yeah, this is where Xena learns that Shakti is like the purest soul. He's gonna sacrifice himself for like his people. He's amazing, but she's like, you shouldn't go up against Alti. She sucks.
Yeah, you can't die for your people because Alti doesn't bargain. Even that bargain she wouldn't take.
This is fair. I do love, again, how we're mildly doing the one against an army thing, but slightly different, like, in terms of outcome, but, like, Shakti just wants to sacrifice himself and for his people so that his people have hope. I love that. That's a very Shakti thing to do.
Oh, we haven't talked about the significance of Shakti's name.
Yeah. Oh, so we were talking about the heart chakra and the lotus, and then in the middle, which is what Gabrielle will have for the rest of time.
The six-pointed star.
Which is called the Shakona. And it's 2 triangles, one upright, one upside down. And the top one, it represents, like, masculine power, and the bottom one represents feminine power. I think that's the right way. Yes. The upper stands for Shiva, male energy, and also fire. And the lower for Shakti, female power and water. So the word Shakti is, in this translation, representing female power. It also is, I think, a name that is used for anybody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gender neutral.
Yeah.
Well, I love that description of the hexagram because that's so yin-yang. Mm-hmm. That's the same idea. So it's really cool that now that we're in India, we're like seeing a version of that symbol in some ways.
Gabrielle is tracing with her fingers Naima's mendhi, like she's learning the designs, and
she just can't learn all this
so fast.
So fast. This is silly.
And Naima's like, the key is the mendhi. Together, you and Xena must use it to trap the evil and bring it back to be destroyed. Mendhi is the path to enlightenment.
Is it?
Feel it. Don't try to understand it. Accept it. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah.
Can we talk about this also?
What?
I don't know, just everything in the episode. So this is definitely like a liberty with a art form that is not have anything to do with anything that this episode is presenting.
I admit this is the one thing in the episode that I kind of enjoy, the idea that mendhi, you apply them and then you have these awesome powers. And maybe they're sentient. I'm still confused about what Steve was actually doing.
Herself is the mendhi.
But, that was the elaboration in this episode where I was like, that's cool. That feels Xena. Taking this Indian traditional form and kind of giving it the Xena treatment.
Yeah.
It glows and gives you, like, chakram powers.
Sure.
Cool. All right. Whereas the karma idea, which I agree, like, has some very romantic significance for the rest of the show.
Yeah.
But, like, in this episode, I'm just like, what? But, like, past life, present life, like, it's such a hot mess. But
one of the best things that this show does is having everything be true. I forget the TV trope name for it. What confused me about Alti in this one, again, is that, like, I love whenever they go someplace new and you're in that system, everything there is true. But, like, Alti literally came to India because the power of everyone's, like, reincarnated lives was so much stronger. So, like, if it's only true here, then how did Xena... Like, you know, it's true everywhere, but it's only true here. It's like it's fun and confusing.
It's very confusing.
The world
does it mean that people who just pass through India and become familiar with the idea of reincarnation? Because I'm not sure Xena would believe it if not for Naima sending her to
like they experience
the future.
It, so they know it's true. It also becomes a huge part of the show.
So yeah, this idea that if a group of people believe it, it's true in the show. Which I agree. I like that there's just this idea of religious pluralism, that all these gods exist. There's a great image later in the episode where you have Gabs with her mendhi and then the stigmata on top of it. And I was like, that's so cool, the layering
that's
of
amazing.
Judeo-Christianity and Hinduism. Like, that's really neat. Yeah. That's very Xena. But
that was last week too, with Eli and the images of the 6-pointed star in Judeo-Christianism.
That's true, yeah.
Where now we're talking about it as an Indian symbol.
Yeah. No, I like that Xena has this message that it is, you know, all religions are full of something helpful and interesting, and they should all be there on screen, and they're all real. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they'll just do crazy things to you no matter where you go.
So it does really matter where you go.
Yeah, it really matters where you go.
So Naima tells Gabrielle they're just going to hide the henna kit in the wall. And then the guys are outside. They're like, we're ready now to break down the doors. We're coming in. And so Naima has to send Gabrielle into the future with the CGI bomb. So we see some images for Gabs now, too.
Yes, we do. We got what?
The
Way again.
The Way.
They had filmed that one.
We knew that from a while ago.
Who's in Harlots? Her putting on her Amazon mask hat.
I think it's the Quest.
Oh, is it the Quest?
Yeah, the Quest.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the Quest.
You're right. Excuse me. You're correct. That's yes.
Yeah, it looked season 2. The
principle applies.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. And then we get the prophecy, of course. And then there's a long thing, including some music cues of, I think, from the Bittersweet.
All right, you hear the like the...
Well, you see the trumpet.
Which I thought was interesting to use because in my researchings in this episode, like I came across this article about...
that said they're in illusion?
Yes, they're in illusion. No, it was about the Wheel of Samsara, which is... Samsara is the chain of birth and death cycle that you're trying to break free from with karma to achieve, I think it's called moksha. Kind of the similar, like nirvana in Buddhism, yeah. So it was this wheel, and it had like a snake and like other animals and stuff, and it was very much like the bittersweet, like, and that was like her head when it was on the wheel, and so they're kind of being sent through this.
Oh, the wheel.
Yeah. So I was like, that's why the bitters. Yeah,
that's
maybe.
Really cool. That's really cool. I accept that immediately.
I just think that there's like a lot. There was a lot of thought going on.
We stressed when we were doing Bittersweet how it was sampling from all these different image systems and cultures. So I like that now that we've swung back around to India, Bittersweet comes back too.
So Gabrielle is Shakti now, and he's all suddenly modest.
That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Sexy topless Shakti grabs his little shirt and puts it over his little boobs. Oh, sweet.
Be proud of what you got, Shakti.
So my favorite detail is that when he puts on the shirt, he turns around like how we saw Gabrielle in Paradise
And we were so mad at her for doing that. So she's doing it again.
What happens to like Shakti and Mother of Peace?
After they leave?
No, because Xena and Gabrielle, like, technically it's like their karma soul in their lifetime has been sent, like, into their bodies.
Yeah.
So, like, what's going on with, like, the persona or life that is Shakti.
They're in the sunken place.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, no.
Well, Gabrielle thinks that Kindon is actually Xena because she hears about a really powerful warrior.
I love this little detail.
Yeah. Trying to get a big army. What?
The sunken place. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, so good. Everybody, if you haven't seen Get Out, go see it immediately and then watch it immediately again because it's even more amazing the second time you see it. Carry on with the episode.
So Shashi goes, is she still tall? Black hair, a particular war cry when she attacks?
I love this. And I love his delivery of these lines. It was you definitely understood that it was Gabs. Yeah. It was a nice little bit of performance.
Yeah, and this makes for sure like Mother of Peace is sitting there listening to this being like, this is this a Gabs?
Saying what? Oh, she's like, whoever's there. Is that other guy in there?
I think so.
Athlin? My other favorite character.
Yeah. Oh,
she's like, go away.
Yeah.
Give us some privacy.
Yep.
I love that that's Gab's first thought. It's like, oh, someone mentioned a warrior. That's gotta be Xena.
Gotta be Xena.
Yeah.
Love that assumption.
Now that they're alone, Xena's like, hey, it's me. And
I wish that was what really happened. Hey!
So!
But I thought Gabrielle was a little bit bummed out when she saw...
Really?
Yeah.
So
Why?
casual, so sexy.
She was like, no.
I like that she was doing the thing with her shirt.
Yeah,
and I liked
holding
how
her
it
shirt
did that
together.
in the mirror in case you were like confused or something. They were doing the same thing.
Because Xena turns them towards the mirror and everyone's confronted with how they look now.
This is a fun shot. And yeah, it was, like, I totally got why it would be brain busting for Gabs, but it was weird because they'd made this decision on a production level to just have the actors there. So we, the audience, aren't confused at all. So it was weird that we couldn't share in their confusion of being like, you look like this now. Oh, you look like this now. Whoa.
Yeah.
It was just weird choices all around.
So Xena fills Gabrielle in on everything that's going on, about how Alti's in this, like, cool warrior lady, super powerful, and how, LOL, she's the Mother of Peace now. That's Xena, of course.
I love both, like, Xena's kind of aw shucks delivery about being the Mother of Peace, like she's embarrassed, and then Gab's sweet little face as she reacts.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a cute moment.
Gabs fills Xena in on the plan with the mendhi.
Yeah, this is really plotty.
Yeah, and then we get the plot, which is that they have to free the hostages at the same time that they snatch Alti.
Yes.
It has to happen all at once.
Otherwise, her men will take revenge on the hostages.
Right.
So they gotta free them. But there's always a chance that the men will just chase after them after they take Alti and take revenge 10 minutes later. So, okay.
So then we have Alti saying really amazing lines like, I'm so close to my goal. I knew one day I would find the body of Xena's karma.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Oh, no.
I wrote
I
love it. Sure, lady.
Yeah. And then she senses that she has an enemy in the past. And she needs a sacrifice to, like, get some juices for herself, some power. So she grabs this, like, little girl, and the girl's mother was really good at acting.
She was really good. I was so upset.
She was great.
Her wailing.
Yes.
I was just like, oh no. How could you do that to that poor extra?
Yeah. Meanwhile, our gang is getting ready to attack, to do this plan. We have Gabrielle.
I laughed at my own note. I'm sorry. I thought Gabrielle and Xena watch wearing problematic hats.
Yeah, I wrote, Gabs is wearing a big fuck-off turban,
no.
comma, fuck-off turban.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So this would have been better here if we had New Zealand's Next Top Model host instead, which I would have totally approved of because I love this guy.
There's also a really funny bit in this conversation. I mean, it's a cute conversation. Maybe before we get to my funny bit, let's talk about what they actually say to each other. Xena's clearly a little miffed, I think.
No, she's not miffed. No, when she says it's
yeah.
funny, here you're the warrior, the hero.
I feel like there's envy.
No miffed. No.
It's sweet.
No, her face is so sweet about it. Like she's like proud or something. I don't know. It's like I did not see miffed.
She's being a bit maternal as mother of peace.
I don't know. Yeah, I didn't see miffed.
Well, I guess maybe I just reacted that way because Gabrielle's line in response to me was so consoling. Like, come on, Xena. Like, you know, there are other ways of being a hero than being a warrior, which is basically what she says. In this lifetime, the mother of peace would be a goddess to me. That's a hero. Yeah. So I feel
lovely.
like there's some insecurity, maybe, is more the better
Maybe
word.
it's insecurity.
Well, we know.
She
I mean,
just keeps trying to kill something.
Yeah. She feels useless.
Yeah, that's it. In her body, and
And then MVP of the episode,
my favorite line.
Athlin,
the best line in the whole episode.
comes up to them and
I'm ready.
admits, Good mother, I'm afraid I don't understand a lot of this.
Yeah.
Right there with you, Athlin. Right there with you.
So this dude has been tasked to go into the house and go into the wall and get a box, and he's very confused. But he's
No,
like,
he
I'll
knows
do
his
it.
job, though.
I'll
He
do
knows
it.
what's up. We're getting to my other favorite line of Alti's.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Let's hear it. Yeah, we're back to Alti with the little girl.
Yeah,
She's basically sensing all the fear that this girl has, and she's excited about it. She's like, fear. I want that fear. I want that power inside you. I want the power of that fear. What? Oh, I don't know what that's happening there, but I love it. I truly do.
It kind of reminds me of bad lip sync, where it just like words come out. Maybe they'll all fit together in a sentence. Maybe they won't.
Oh my God.
I love it. I love it. I love it. It's awesome. She wants the power of the fear. You know the fear that's inside her? The power that's inside of her, she wants it, the fear. That's what she wants.
No one's debating that.
Guys, is that what the Zigga Zigga is?
Yes. Your fear.
Oh my God. Well, Gabrielle and her men attack. We got the fire bombs, we got the swords, and Xena hobbles over and frees the prisoners. Atlan finds the box. We're great.
I love Alti's line to Xena in the scene where she's like, last time I saw you, you were killing me. And Xena has this little, like amused sniff, like, yeah, I was.
I didn't think we needed an audio flashback of where I'm going to hide this box in this wall.
Again, this episode
That seems
is
like a
both
studio note.
really convoluted and impossible to understand, but then in these moments does something where you're like, I get that at least. The one thing in this episode I understood, that you needed to hide the mendhi behind the female gender sign on the wall. And they're like, no, we need an audio flashback.
Yeah.
It happened 10 minutes ago. They've forgotten.
Oh, aside from that, before we get too far away from it, I like there's in that conversation that Xena and Alti were having, I like Xena's line about the blood of an innocent gives power to no one. I should know. That's really good. And then I also really like, because, you know, in this life, Xena is the mother of peace. And, like, there's these shots where Alti's going, like, she's here to plead for life. Like, and it's basically, like, you know, this one and those ones. And she's, like, there's all these, like...
poor prisoners all like, where?
Yeah, but I just like that, like, you know, I just think it's important that it's always this. It's always fighting for these people, even if she doesn't know who they are. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, whether it's negotiating for peace or being a warrior, she's trying to save people.
Anyway, Xena's going to talk about fear now, too.
Fear is the path to the dark side. Like, this is the conversation they have about how Alti has come to India to feed off people's past and future lives because of the karmic cycle.
Yeah, she found the power she was looking for in the karmic circle. Yeah.
Cycle?
I think it's circle.
No,
I think
probably
she says
is.
circle.
Yeah.
Which, you know, yeah.
Sure, Alti, sure.
That's the thing. It's only true in the geographical area. It's true everywhere. I don't.
I guess
we're gonna go to heaven and hell later. We're gonna go everywhere.
I just have a basic how.
That's what I was asking you before. Yeah. Like, what makes her different? And Vera decided it's because she's a shamaness, and that's all.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I totally get the logic of her power as presented in Sintrade, where she could see your future and past.
Right. She always has had
fuck
this.
you up with it.
In your one lifetime, she can do it.
But it seemed like she fed on power back in the Syntrate era by drinking your blood once you were dead. That's at least what she did. With R.I.P. Cyan. But here it just seems like she grabs your face, and maybe that's when she does her looking into your past future thing. But that's also as she's taking your power. It just was...
Alti somehow figured out... yeah.
Well, she became a spirit, guys. So her spiritual power, like once she was in the spirit world, like I feel like Steve is like, that's the same as karmic cycle. So,
see, but that I don't even understand equating that.
I think spirit equals soul to him, equals you can just go into a different body in the future. It's the same.
So retain your sense of self, which is what Alti seems to have done.
Yes.
It's like, maybe if you wrote a book about, like, I'll read the novelization of Between the Lines for some extra logic.
100% know that someone can send us, like, essays about this episode that could convince me of its internal logic, but I don't know that it's there specifically. I think that you can take the best ideas and decide that those are the true things.
That I accept, yeah. So they have this conversation about how fear plays into this, that you feed off someone, fear is the key to feeding. I thought it was blood, but again, okay.
It's fear now. Get with it.
It's fear now.
Fear leads to anger.
Heat.
Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
Okay, it does. I'm suffering, let me tell you. It's like a heat radiating from your victim, says Xena. So she seems to, like, you know, she was a fear vampire back in the day herself. And then there's this line that apparently is a very important one to Steve about fear is a flaw given to humans by the gods to exploit them, which is a real anti-fear statement. I'm not sure what it's doing here in this episode, but interesting idea, Steve.
Xena gets knocked down, but she gets up again.
Never gonna keep her down.
She grabs a dagger, and she's definitely gonna stab Alti when Atlan comes riding in with his little box of mendhi, and he's like, "No, don't do it, bitch!" And he gets arrowed.
Yeah.
By Alti.
She has this crossbow, and it's so funny. She takes forever to fire it. They keep cutting back to her, like stringing it, bulleting back. It takes 10 minutes. I know Rick loves his slow-mo, but...
I don't think this is in slow-mo.
You do see some other bits of slow-mo here. You see Gabs spinning around in her turban and her hair flying, her long, beautiful hair. And it's a good use of slow-mo, that.
Do you remember when we were watching this episode and I cried?
Because of the hair?
Yeah. Like a couple days ago.
Okay, so poor sweet Atlan, he is basically dead. He hands over the box.
He dies trying to protect Xena from killing someone.
Yeah.
Very noble.
A really big idea. One of the many big ideas in this episode that I kind of wanted more of.
Her dudes must be so confused. Yeah. Like, suddenly, Mother of Peace is just trying to murder everyone.
It's a lot.
Do you mean the idea of, like, Alti can just end it? She can end
the idea
their
that she can end her soul or her karma or however you want to use these words. Like that, you know, this cycle, and the whole idea of this cycle is that it continues on unless you reach nirvana. So now we're being told that no, like, Alti can stop it by, I'm not sure, doing what? Drinking your blood, eating your fear, doing something else. I don't know, but she can do it. And I'm going to have more problems with this whole idea. Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense. And now we're being told that Xena would have destroyed her karma or her soul. I forget. They may say soul there.
It's just like, I don't
if
like...
she killed
even
as
just
Mother
the
of
idea
Peace.
of, like, karma interacting with anything. Like, soulmates and karma is not the same thing at all.
I think they want you to think it is.
And it's just like, karma is such a great concept because there's nothing, it's just you. It's just you making choices. Even, you know, supreme Hindu god, Brahman, like, doesn't judge. Like, there's no involvement from any kind of god in karma. It's just like, you make choices, and then your next life this is what the choices happened, and it just keeps going. It's such a great idea, and I think it's a great idea, especially for a character like Xena. It's so confusing here.
Yeah, what was her amazing line? I think from One Against an Army, where she says, or maybe it's Forgiven, actually, where she's like, every day you remake yourself. Like, you can change your behavior at any time. Like, it's this great way of evoking that idea of free will. Like, which is a very important idea in Xena. And I think what's great about this whole idea of karma is that, it's not negating free will at all. It's celebrating it. It's saying, like, your power to make choices, Xena's power to choose, like, even after a life of evil, to do good now will eventually pave the way for her to be this saint who sometimes accidentally almost murders people by accident.
Not Arminestra.
Right. It's not Arminestra.
It's Xena's
being
so
confused.
That's not,
Yeah.
Sure.
Carry
on.
Okay.
So Athlin is dead, but he gave them the box.
We're going to miss you, Athlin. You had the line of the episode. You'll be really missed.
And Gabrielle gets knocked out, and Alti basically captures our heroes. And she makes fun of Xena for being Mother of Peace.
How pathetic. The great warrior can't kill.
She also figures out that Shakti is Gabrielle.
That's right. She just can see it.
Yeah. Oh, wait. I had a question. Why are they all just talking here? I didn't understand why they were all of a sudden just hanging out and talking.
Because Alti has to go on about her power, how much she needs it.
Alti really likes talking.
She loves to talk.
I mean, it's nice, like, Xena's doing the nice forehead cooling cloth thing with Gabrielle's nice.
But it is. I assume they're prisoners of war.
They're prisoners, but they're not.
Well, they're gonna
they bust out with the. I got it. They're prisoners.
They're prisoners, but they're like.
She wants to put him on the stakes. And
I got it.
Die as
But they're
symbols.
not tied up. They're seemingly not being watched.
She puts him in a cell and leaves
it's like,
him there.
they're going to be fine in there.
She goes off to watch all of the Terminator movies. Because she
can do it.
Needs to figure out what her favorite one is. We'll find out what it was in a little bit.
Oh,
we'll find
great.
out,
I'm really excited.
Okay. So after Alti leaves, Gabrielle wakes up and Xena whips out the box and she's like, bitch, start painting. So we have our amazing painting.
There's this really
montage.
funny bit here that I think they must have done in ADR because you don't see anybody speak.
Oh, I noticed that.
It was
too.
So weird because it's two shots. You have the shot of
both.
Xena with Gabs' line just completely recorded over it, where she's like, "What if I don't remember how to do the mehndi?" Then you cut to Gabs not talking and Xena's voice over it being like, "You got this," or something.
You got this, boo. I do wonder what the real lines were.
Yeah, they just completely changed that. I mean, I think you can tell.
She's I traced them on her
for
I
like
left.
5 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, so this is pretty sexy though, guys.
Yeah, it is.
Especially because it's intercut with some stakes being built.
Oh yeah, steaks.
Steaks.
Especially
especially
not like there's beautiful backs and
close-ups of the extreme close-ups of the little
they're
dots.
very skilled.
Yeah, totally
artistry that they know how to do this.
Gabrielle learned 2 seconds before being sent into the future, and then Xena is magically. She has many skills, I guess.
I mean,
yeah. But why is her handwriting so
terrible?
Bad? So they're painting each other, and we have this amazing shot of Xena on her stomach and Gabrielle doing her back, and that's a very familiar shot, isn't it? Where have we seen that?
Where have we seen that? In a show I watched before I watched Xena.
Our favorite show.
Yeah, Willow and Tara did this in Restless.
But they did it second.
Xena did it first.
I was reaching for a coin.
Don't put a coin in there. I mean, you could put a coin in there for the exoticism if you'd like.
Sure.
It's part of
gladly
the maybe let's link out Boom Boom Ba again, the greatest of Xena vids, where it's kind of just a crescendo of exoticism. That's
sexy exoticism.
And I think it is a pointed critique actually in the vid.
Yes,
but
agreed. I think it's actually a very smart bit.
Yeah, very, very smart. Because this is sexy and it's also problematic. We can love it and point out the issue at the same time. This is probably like around the time where I feel like getting henna tattoos became a like 90s trend.
I think probably Madonna, right?
Probably Madonna.
Yeah.
Ray of Light.
Oh, Ray of Light. That was the late 90s, 98, I think.
Of course.
So, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Vera, you've had henna, right?
I did. Well, I mean, not
in the 90s.
Not in the 90s. Yeah, I was a bridesmaid in an Indian wedding, and I got it done. It was really cool.
Did you have magical powers?
No.
I did not.
That's a
sadly.
shame. That's a shame.
Maybe if we try again.
Maybe you should know what you were doing.
You needed another 5 minutes of tracing.
Exactly. That's right. The other thing that's really, I mean, it was, at least on the X-Files, like reincarnation. That was a big...
yeah, Field Where I Died. Mm-hmm. Peak Duchovny hotness.
That's true. He looks really good in that episode.
Yeah. So X-Files did it first.
X-Files really did it first.
Along with any other thing that
and they had gender swap
reincarnations,
because Scully was a dude in the Civil War.
Yeah, and very Shakti, as I recall, right? Like that dude was like there to help Mulder's past life out.
Yeah, that's interesting. I do want to say I think that we're definitely going to dig into this topic more when we get to Deja Vu all over again. Yeah. There's a button to the end of this episode that is interesting, and I'm not sure if I like it, and I just definitely think that we're going to be talking a lot more about gender and reincarnation when we get to the finale.
Alti rolls right into this room. She has watched all of the Terminator movies. She has decided what her favorite one is.
What is it, Alti?
Alti, you're not original. She says, it's Judgment Day.
Oh, I mean, that is the best. She's right.
She's right.
Sarah Connor, though.
And then, to her surprise, Xena and Gabrielle start doing like a little voguing session.
Right.
And they whoosh their mendhi out at her. This really reminded me of let our powers combine. Like,
well, they actually do Captain Planet at the end of this episode.
For sure. So this is the beginning.
First.
Yeah.
I forgot to say, but during the whole sexy mendhi application scene, I couldn't help but think of Shakti and Arminestra, like doing this together.
Why did you give this image to me?
I couldn't help it. That's what's happening.
Oh, no. So they explode and go back into the past.
Yep.
And then we see that what's going on in the past right now, Naima's about to be thrown into the fire. And then, I mean, she's thrown into the fire. And then the Terminator time travel bubble appears.
Oh my god, it legit is that.
Yeah.
I thought they could have done a really cool, like, Mother of Dragons bit. They've actually thrown Naima into the flames. Yeah. You should have seen them come out of the flames. Maybe they just didn't have the fireproofing to, like, achieve that effect.
I think they ran out of money.
Yeah, this is the least successful effect in the episode. And we had Lucky Charms earlier.
I like the Lucky Charms.
Well, this, I think you could agree, is not a good.
I thought it was simple. They come out of a bubble.
Yeah.
And she comes out of the bubble with them, not like from on top, but just like from that bubble. Then Alti spins her way, like how the little souls spawn in.
Right out of Syntrade.
Yeah, Syntrade. And, well, she's there now to fuck
and
shit up.
This is why I can't be in any way super mad at this episode, because this is one of the best fucking fights on this show I've ever seen.
This is awesome. This is the 25% I like.
It's amazing.
I literally looked at a watch. I was like, this fight begins here. This is when the episode starts.
No.
This 10 minutes.
It's not that. You're making it way worse than it.
I think it's real bad, and this fight is real good.
This fight is awesome.
So Xena orders Gabrielle to get Naima out of there, and Alti figures out that Xena brought her soul back to try to defeat her. Oh my god. But guess what? She brought her powers back with her.
I didn't understand that back as in just like with her, or back as in she didn't have them before? Because she did have them before.
She did have them before.
It was such a confusing line.
She tested them out in the future on the guy.
On that guy.
And it worked.
So I wasn't sure what she meant by that.
It's super a lot, they're back.
Yeah. I don't know. She's back in her own
Full
body
force,
using.
Alti.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Super
I'll
duper.
accept the emotional logic, I guess, of it, as in just like, shit just got real. I
Yeah.
get that.
It's like full blown Alti now,
Yeah.
once again. So she uses them. She hits Xena with the tree from the quest. Oh no.
I know, that's the one
Can
she
we
picked.
discuss this? Can we sidebar right here and talk about how if she hits her with the tree,
She should die.
she should be dead. Like in like a few hours. She'll just die of tree.
Well, Xena does go, ow.
She doesn't, in fact, say ow. Maybe it's slightly blunted. It's not like the actual
Okay,
pain.
that's
It's
fine.
like a ghost of it.
Ghost
but it's
of
still
it.
a
It's not
lot
the
of pain.
actual murderous tree
Yeah.
that
Well,
killed
then-
Xena.
Then she hit us, the audience, with some pain by showing us fucking Milo.
I was so angry. I was like, Milo, that's the best you got is fucking Milo.
No, they
I
didn't
mean-
even use Crusader. They didn't, like, they used Milo instead.
I mean, if that's Alti's new strategy, it should be like, here's Ulysses, and here's Ulysses again. Oh, the pain.
That's for us. She's hurting us. All right, then she hits her with Callisto on the ladders, and then the gladiator on the horse from When in Rome, and then both the Deliverer and Craft Star.
Yeah.
The writer of this episode really likes the Deliverer. I wonder why.
So Xena is very bloody, and she's down, and Gabrielle runs up and sees this.
Yeah, this is a theme.
Is the theme her hair blowing in the
No.
really intense wind machines right now?
The theme is Gabrielle seeing Xena and then rushing to try and do something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she decides to give it a good go with Alti.
And she's been so awesome in fight scenes recently,
Oh,
so
man.
it hurt. I mean, especially like she was being Shakti in the future, who was a
Yeah.
great warrior. So to see this great warrior Gabs be just, she has her ass handed to her in seconds.
Yeah, Alti grabs her staff, breaks it over her knee, then proceeds to beat Gabrielle with it really intensely.
Oh,
It
jeez.
was really upsetting. And then she grabs her by the hair and lays her hands on her face
Okay.
and goes, "What has she told you about me, little girl? Has she told you about my powers? Has she told you about this?"
Your algaes are really good too.
I meant,
Dayquil.
I meant to do this one. What's the matter, Xena? Having a problem fighting me in my spiritual state? I'm real. Formed from the evil of the earth.
You know,
She's crazy.
I was reading, like, we were reading those interviews with Claire Stansfield, and she was saying how, like, Rick Jacobson was standing and laughing by the monitor. And
Rick knows
you're-
what's up.
And you're like, this is really offensive. I'm with you, Claire. And now that like, we're doing these lines
They're
just by
so
themselves,
silly.
they're so
And I mean,
hilarious.
she extracts them for every ounce of like campy
Yeah.
So good.
amazeballeness.
Yeah.
So good.
Vera was watching this episode this morning, and I just heard her talking and started laughing. Like I couldn't see it. I didn't even really know what part of the episode it was, but I heard that voice saying those lines, and it's just it's joyous.
So great.
So yeah, so
Meanwhile, the
Gabrielle
most intense fight of all time.
Gabrielle sees the vision finally.
Finally. Yeah,
She sees it. Oh boy.
She sees her hair.
She sees it big time.
Like, what's that about?
Yeah, and Alti says that that's her gift.
And the other best part of the episode,
Yes.
slow-mo Xena rising up, mad that Alti has shown Gabrielle this vision.
All three of us.
You bitch!
Amazing. Fuck. I mean, what else are you going to say?
Oh my god.
What other thing is appropriate? No other thing.
Gabs' little face, like in reaction to the vision, is really sad.
And she's also being like
Yeah, I mean,
strangled
by her hair
and getting
Ooh.
crucified.
Yeah,
She doesn't get crucified yet, but
She's just
she's
about
holding
to.
her up by her hair. That's
Yeah.
pretty bad.
That hurts.
Already. I do wish that Alti called her... What did she call her in the Syntrade? The blonde one?
Oh, the blonde
Who's
one.
the blonde
Yeah.
one? I wanted her to be like, you're the blonde one!
She does kind of. Doesn't she earlier in that scene with the forehead cooling cloth? Isn't she like your blonde friend? No.
No, I don't think
Yeah.
so.
No.
Just as your
She's
friend.
Your friend?
Yeah.
All right, fine.
Well, Alti's response to Xena's slow-mo, you bitch, was to break her legs via destiny. It's like the worst thing that's ever happened.
That's
to...
a good scream, Lucy.
Oh, God. It is the
Lucy's
greatest
a good one.
scream out of all
I
of the
mean,
show.
obviously, this is an amazing fight, but it's very brutal.
It's
and that's
so
part of what makes it just
brutal.
feel really real.
Yeah, I mean, this reaction
When
is
you're
just, it's
in
just
an
agonizing.
episode where everything has been like really high concept and you know it just you
But these are
get
our
to
guys.
this and it's like
Yeah.
These are
And it's
real.
interesting because it is, it's graphically violent, but at the same time, it is using still this magical concept of Alti's power.
Right.
So I think it's cool that it feels really violent, even though it's not like Alti physically striking
Right.
Xena and Gabrielle.
But, like, she broke Xena's legs the first time with the Berserker. And Xena, like, yeah, she reacted, but, like, she really reacted.
really
right
broke
here.
them this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this
Like,
year,
this was
I'm
legit.
with you. That scream, I can't hear it without, like, kind of cringing back.
Yes. It's like, it's visceral. You feel
Yeah.
it as an audience member. Oh, my goodness. And then that's where Alti starts having Gabrielle get crucified, basically.
yeah, it's her hands and her feet.
Yeah. And she's holding her
Are
by
bloody.
the hair. And poor sweet Xena, what can she do
I don't know.
but try to help Gabrielle? She takes the chakram and with her last strength
Yeah.
throws it
Yeah.
and chops that hair off.
Yeah, it gives her a fucking cute bob. It's like shoulder length and adorable. Carry on.
It's such a desperate move
Yeah.
because, like, I'm sure she doesn't want to do that. She doesn't want to cut her hair, but like she just wants to separate her from this pain.
Yeah.
Like, it's not
Right,
like
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
saving
Oh,
her life.
absolutely.
Even it's just
No, it's
like,
to stop the vision,
Yeah.
like the hurt for that
Yeah.
moment. Yeah.
It's very sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's about to catch the chakram, but Alti, of course, is like, ugh, Xena, and does a little Callisto hit, and therefore Xena's unable to catch the chakram, and instead it slices her neck.
That is the worst. I did not remember
She's dead
that
now.
when I rewatched this episode
Yeah.
and made a huge noise.
You
I was
did.
just like, holy shit.
Yeah,
Like,
it
I can't
was-
believe they did that.
Love this fight.
Yeah.
I mean, Xena getting cut by her own chakram just feels like such a violation. You're just like, oh god, no.
Didn't Rick said that Rob wanted her to splurt blood from her neck?
Rob wanted as much violent imagery as possible in this fight.
Yes,
And
I'm with you, Rob.
He got a lot. He got quite a bit. And then Alti's reaction after that, she just laughs.
Oh, so our heroes are down, like both of them. They're totally down. And my favorite detail, literally one of my favorite details from this entire episode is Alti cackling and then gleefully chucking the remains of Gabrielle's ponytail from her hand, like, to the side.
Oy.
Like,
Yeah,
It makes a little whoosh
It
noise.
does, yes. Oh my gosh. So then Naima walks out.
She's barefoot too, lest you forget.
Thanks for reminding me. And Alti guesses that she's the Darsham who sends Xena and Gabrielle through time to try to stop her.
She tries to do the face-sucking thing, but it doesn't work. Because Naima is more powerful even than Xena.
Whoa.
Whoa.
So she's not her enemy. The mendhi is her enemy?
It's so confusing because Naima on her own can't defeat Alti. You need all the
powers
the powers of the mendhi combined. Yeah.
Wind,
But
water,
the fact that,
heart.
the line is Naima isn't Alti's enemy, the mendhi is.
I'm telling you, because
You're like,
Naima
what?
is the mendhi.
You're like, what? How is the mendhi anyone's enemy? It's some paste.
I don't know. So, well, whatever. She starts lighting up the mendhi, and then Gabrielle kind of gets up, and she does, like, Palpatine lightning from her
she's
hands.
definitely force lightning. Yeah.
And they grab Alti with their lightning powers and hold her. And then Xena creates a chakram out of her mendhi and throws it at Alti. Alti, like, hits it away, but then Xena got 2 more, and then she gets her.
I thought this effect, considering its glowing chakrams, it sounds really silly in theory, but I thought it looked pretty cool on screen.
I liked it.
It's a great moment.
I thought that one was really great. So, success!
And we even talked about the fact that, I mean, you kind of made mention of it briefly, Katie, but the chakram is an Indian weapon.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about it in Chakram.
Episode. Put a pin in it.
It is cool that it gets this central role here and feels really like it belongs, because it does.
Yeah. Alti explodes and leaves this episode with this big skull, Terminator skull.
Yeah, Terminator skull flying away.
Yep.
Bye. On to her next life? Question mark? Okay, here is a question mark. Because, okay, we've had all this stuff about how if Alti kills Xena outside her own body, forward in time, it'll end her karmic circle. Why doesn't Alti's end? Because she's been taken out of her body in time and then killed. Like,
because she's a shamaness.
This episode sets up rules, and I'm being really charitable and even calling them rules. And here just so flagrantly breaks it that you're like, what?
Alti has been the exception to every rule, which is why that's where I get confused every time, is because I feel like without Alti, stuff kind of makes sense, but with Alti, it doesn't.
And of course, Alti was coming from this other shaman tradition, which is a completely different set of religious ideas. So there's just so much going on, and I'm not sure how well it's all. I mean, I know how well it's all meshing together. Not well.
Feel it. Don't try to understand it.
Accept it. Well, I can't accept, Steve. I'm trying so hard.
I can. Even though I don't get it.
I'm still athleting this shit up. I don't understand a lot of this.
All right, so Xena and Gabrielle, they do that little crawling towards each other thing that last scene in Paradise Found, but better looking Xena now, so this is the only time it matters.
And Gabrielle and her cute new bob.
And they're really beat up. It's intense.
So good.
And all the villagers come out.
They're clinging to each other.
Everybody starts bowing down to Naima, because that was some badass shit that she did.
Yeah.
Especially those dudes who tried to burn her 2 seconds ago.
Now they're sorry.
Yeah. And Naima congratulates Xena for destroying Alti. The one time she was strong in her karmic cycle. And Xena's like, one time? And it's like, yep, you're gonna be fighting with her forever? Question mark?
Yay!
Kind of canonical.
She also tells them that they're forever meant to be together. Like the lines of the mendhi.
Okay.
Separated but forever connected.
Oh, that's nice, I think.
I think that's very nice. I like that idea that they're separate but connected.
Yeah.
Emphasizing their kind of individuality, but also how important the connection is between them.
Yes.
And then she just adds on, just to remind you, mendhi contains truth.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Just accept it. So then she glows herself into a ball of light and floats into the heavens.
Like,
Glinda.
Yeah.
She Glinda's out of there.
Glinda.
Oh, yeah. Glinda's a woman at work. Your friend Glinda.
The office. So this is where I go. She was the mendhi. She says she tells the truth. And she just glowed out of there.
Oh.
Right into Xena's foot.
Well, that's just a dissolve.
She goes into
That's just a dissolve.
And then dissolves into Xena's
go into the foot.
But they made that choice to do that.
It did kind of look like she was going into her foot.
She was going into the mendhi on Xena's foot.
So she lives there now. That's why Xena can't erase it. It's going to be on her foot forever because there's a little Indian woman who lives in there.
Yes.
That's not what happened. No.
Yeah, she's looking at her little tattoo at that moment. A little bit like, did I make a mistake?
No.
It looks cute, Xena. I think you should accept it. It's fine.
And you wear boots all the time, so no one will ever know.
And then,
Is there any continuity with this? Do we ever see this tattoo again?
No,
because Mehndi goes away.
It goes away. It's just Gabrielle.
They talk about it like she's going to have it forever.
Hers.
That's why it's
This is
weird.
what
at
I
the
don't
end.
like the button on this episode.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah,
like.
it goes away.
And all
like
of
it for
her
a lot of
other
reasons.
mendhi has disappeared, but this she kept, which made it seem more permanent. And she's like, it's a time for changes, which seemed to imply that her foot was a permanent change. I don't know.
Well, they have the kit with them.
So many things about this episode. Even something simple like what is this design on Xena's foot leaves me confused.
What if, like, all her other designs that she didn't choose to put there faded, and she was like, I'm going to draw the one that I want.
Did
And
we
she
talk about the
draws
fact that
chakra.
Naima, when she disappeared, healed all their wounds?
No.
She healed
did.
all their wounds, seemingly restored Gabrielle's staff, because she has it here in this last scene,
God.
but she keeps the hair how it is. It's the one thing where she's like, I'm not going to fix that. I can fix staffs, I can fix wounds, I can remove all your mendhi except the one you'd like to keep. But yeah, I can't regrow hair.
I think
So.
Xena drew that mendhi. The chakra.
She
like,
did.
Yeah.
She did it
While
again.
she was waiting for Gabs to get her hair cut,
She did.
she did it.
Okay.
That's why she was.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so Xena's preoccupied with her foot tattoo, and and the audience is accosted with Gabrielle's
It's
new hair.
shocking because she was like right there. And listen, that's not how it was cut by the chakram
At all.
at all in any capacity. So my frustration here is that they canonically talk about this, and Gabrielle's like, this is what it looked like in the vision. So I'm like, so you saw it in the terrible vision of you guys getting killed and decided, I want that, and went and
To the
did
barber.
it. And she also has the line like, you know, Xena's like, how does it feel? And like, it's cute. She like rubs her like fingers in it. And Gabrielle's like, it feels good. I just wish I had some say in it. And I am like, you did, because you did this.
You went to the barber's with a picture, which was, here's a vision of me getting murdered. Can you match that?
I think Xena sliced it like real nice and even.
Yeah, it was a cute little shoulder length bob.
And she just decided, I'm going to make it look more like the prop.
Vision.
What if what really happened was she just went in to get it straightened, the lines just straightened on the bob, and the barber only cuts
No.
men's
Went to
hair
town.
and went to town, and that's what she means by I wish I had some say in
Well,
it.
listen, okay.
Headcanon.
Can we, before we just making fun of her boar short hair, her poor wig situation, what from the vision, which is like in the way, immediately it starts to look like a haircut. I'm not a particular fan of this initial immediate haircut because it looks like it's, you know, it's the late 90s now. It looks like a like late 80s like cut that you would see like when you went to the salon and they had those hardcover books of like haircuts that you could get.
So specific.
It like looks like that, and it just looks so incorrect for the time, for like the show, for the style of the show, for like how she's looked the whole time on this show. And I know I've been making very like vocal sad noises at like, I do love her beautiful long hair. I do love her short hair when it's cute and not a not good haircut, which this is. And I do love the things that her having the short hair kind of stand for with her character. However, this look right this moment makes me weep because it's bad.
That wig is just so massive, like it's 2 feet wide in every direction. And I feel like that would have been forgivable, maybe. They gave her these stupid earrings to go with it that just look so old lady. These like little round earrings. And it's just so bad. Like it
So-
literally looks like she's dressed up as an old lady.
Gabrielle's trying
She's
to
feeling
find
her Arminestra self, I guess.
You know, she's trying to find herself. She's trying to find her way. She's felt like her outward appearance is starting to like, you know, reflect some of this
Yeah,
struggle.
age.
I don't know.
Maturity.
But yeah, before anybody like yells at me for being like anti her short hair, I very much love how adorable she is. Like very soon, getting to the end
settles
of the
into
season,
it,
season
yeah.
5. Yeah, it's just like when it's this like very modern look. It just doesn't make any sense.
So they take off on down the dirt road, barefoot guys. They're talking about Naima and how Gabrielle wishes that she taught her a little bit more.
Yeah, they wanted to ask her more questions because they still don't understand this episode, which is fair.
And they talk about how their karma is intertwined and how that's awesome, but how will they recognize each other?
Not at all how anything works.
They need a sign.
Karma is not intertwined. I don't know what's happening. But it's so romantic, so yay.
Yeah, why couldn't they have just said fates? Why couldn't they have switched terminology?
Because karma was the
This is where they are here, yeah. So it's like, the sort of the confusion. And then also, like, the idea of fate is not part of karma, which is another area where it gets confusing. Yeah. Because, like, if they're, like, fated to fight Alti, they're, like, fated to be soulmates,
then
which is adorable.
Choice doesn't matter.
And that's the opposite. And, like, there is a sort of, like, fatalistic view of karma, I think, which is a misrepresentation of karma. It's that sort of, like, what goes around comes around, which is how the episode kind of started. And that's not really what it means. So this is confusing. But romantic!
It's very romantic. I mean, in a way, I feel like it's going to be expressed in more romantic ways later in the show. But we got to celebrate the fact that these ideas are finally here. And this has been a season about threatening Xena and Gabs with the idea that maybe they're not supposed to be together. Maybe being together is bad for them. Like, maybe they need to make this choice to leave each other, like, for their own good. And here, finally, is validation that being together, being on these parallel lines is beautiful.
Yeah.
So
that's great.
It's so important.
And then also,
that's why I'm mad at this episode.
It's great.
So important.
You know, and then we have, again, your observation of, you know, reading between the lines, because we've now just ended this episode with these two amazing lead female characters being soulmates, basically. It's the best.
Yeah.
Xena draws the woman sign on her foot.
She does do that.
It's
she draws a cross.
She draws a cross. That's what she decides to add, which is, again, they've just been talking about how they're going to get crucified and die. And she's like, I know what I'll add. Like, you're just like, okay.
It's just on her mind.
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly meant to just be a visual gag. It breaks the fourth wall in a way I'm not crazy about.
Yeah, I don't like it.
It's one more bit of nonsense in this giant mountain of nonsense, so...
Yeah, and it does some stuff that, again, we're totally going to get into more with Deja Vu all over again, that I think is unnecessary for the episode. Yeah.
Pins, all
pins.
pins.
Yeah, so many pins.
Well, we did it.
Yeah. Well, Olivia doesn't like this one. I didn't expect it to be like
favorite episodes.
So really?
Of the whole show.
Because I love Steve. Steve is my favorite writer, I would say, of Xena. RJ sometimes gives him a run for his money. I think he's so smart and he's so ambitious, and I applaud that intelligence and that ambition. Like, the things I was saying about When in Rome and A Good Day, like, he takes on too much and he somehow makes it work. You know, it had so much world building and so many characters and so many ideas and all this, like, moral complexity. Both those episodes, Good Day and When in Rome. And then here he's kind of trying to do that again, and it's too much. He puts too much weights on there and it all just collapses. Like, that's my visual for this, is he's trying to do too much. And I'm frustrated because if you look at not each individual part, but quite a few of the individual parts are just really cool ideas. I love the idea that in one of Xena's future lives, she's going to be this woman of peace, and what that messages for her now. I feel like it's really important. It's going to be addressed in an interesting way very soon. I think that's an amazing idea. I think the soulmates idea is an amazing idea. I think that whole thing at the beginning with Sati and cultural exchange is a really amazing idea. I think he had so many cool things he wanted to do here in this India episode, and he tries to do them all.
You can't do them all in 42 minutes.
No, not at all.
It should have been a two-part.
Yeah, I was going to say, would you accept a two-part?
I think he maybe should have just picked his fave and gone with it.
I would have liked a two-parter with this. We would have gotten a lot more Naima.
I might have suffered even more if this were 2 parts.
Because it would have...
He would have had time to develop it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and people like Naima who just feel so shortchanged, or Shakti and Arminestra. If you can see online, there's quite a few deleted scenes from this episode, and most of them feature the South Asian actors, and they're good. You finally get to hear Arminestra deliver lines.
Whoa.
It kind of explains what happens in the future plot after Xena and Gabrielle leave. It still didn't really make sense to me. It seems like Kindin dies and they disappear. No, they don't disappear. No, they're still there. Arminestra and Shakti are there. They come out of the tent, and Kindin dies, and her army's like, okay, we'll leave. Bye.
To which she just dies because
I guess her
Alti.
her spirit isn't there anymore. Yeah, doesn't make sense.
This is what I don't understand.
Yeah.
Because, like...
Yeah. Reincarnation isn't just jamming your consciousness into a new body.
Right. Because the show, yeah.
That's it. That's the problem. There's this assumption.
There's a separate human that they're supposed to be the same, and it doesn't work when you have them being themselves, at the same time.
No, it's just, I don't know. A lot of bad choices. I think you're right that a lot of it is them trying to condense all these intense ideas into 42 minutes. It's super hard. They can't quite do it. They kind of make up for it by repeating information over and over again in the hopes that it's going to make more sense the more you say it. This episode offends me, and not just in a problematic jar way, just in a I want it so much more way.
Well, I love the fight at the end, so I'm good. I'm cool
I feel
here.
like stuff like that makes me wash over any kind of I don't get it. What are you talking about? Stuff from the beginning.
I guess I'm just such a plot person.
I
care about the plot. I love the emotional stuff, but it kind of doesn't mean as much to me if there isn't some kind of plot structure to support it. So even the sexy stuff with the mendhi, I couldn't get into that because I was like, remember the sexy massage and how much that meant in Paradise Found? This means nothing in comparison.
Or you're just looking at it with your eyes, which is fine.
That's true. I mean, definitely this is a turn off your brain and look at the pretty costumes, look at the production designs, look at the sexy mendhi. You can do that and it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, and the most badass fight ever.
But the fight, like I said, 100%, I don't have any issues with the last 10 minutes of this episode, except for the few that we've already discussed. But, that fight it's one of the greatest moments in the show, and in a way, props to Steve, that he has a really rickety episode that makes no sense, but yet in the last 10 minutes, he rallies to a place of such emotional intensity that, we've never even seen before.
I just had a thought where, obviously this is a reincarnation is a plot that has been done in other things, but in terms of Xena itself, for fandom at this point, I feel would have been reading a lot of stuff from Xena Scrolls, and was kind of already doing a lot of this stuff with Xena and Gabrielle in other lives in the future.
That's cool.
So I wonder how that
I wonder if they were
out.
hey, way to steal our ideas. But no, I mean, it's kind of nice that the show, Xena Scrolls, which seemed like such a one-off, is actually prefiguring these important ideas about not just Xena and Gabrielle, but about the metaphysics of Xena.
Started with the Xena Scrolls, now we've ended with the Xena Scrolls.
What?
And we're done.
It's a cycle. It's a circle.
Yeah, karmic circle cycle.
Okay, well, you guys can follow us on all the stuff and things
XenaWarriorPodcast.com, which is our website, if you couldn't tell. You can listen to episodes there. We're on Patreon also. Guys, there's just so much stuff. Go do all of it. Oh my God. Patreon, if you would like to support the podcast and listen to more podcasts and get some behind the scenes going on and all that stuff, you can go check us out over there. It's patreon.com/Xena Warrior Podcast. We are on Apple Podcasts and any other podcast listening place where you can listen to them, totally do that. If you are so inclined, we would love if you could take a second, rate and leave reviews. Always super great to hear from you guys about what you're liking, and it helps people find the podcast, so that's always very helpful. We are on everything social media wise, Twitter at Xena Warrior Pod, and we're on Tumblr and Facebook and Instagram, all those things, Xena Warrior Podcast. And then if you are interested in getting some Xena Did It First merch to celebrate, you know, how they did the sexy henna before Buffy, you can go to our store on Redbubble for some Xena Did It First merch, which there's a link on our website for that.
The power.
The passion.
The podcast.